Welcome to Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Gauthier, the creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. For the past 9 years, I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I started raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott. For the past 9 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself, and I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned on this journey. As the Alternative Dog Moms, we're bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and sharing the tips, tricks, and resources we learn along the way. Now, let's get started. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, Erin. I think I scared my cat when I said that. My cat just jumped, what are you doing in here? Sorry, Cosmo. How's it going?
Good. So you seem really excited.
I know. Thank you for letting me just start. I'm just so excited. So Scout had his first appointment with our new holistic vet. And this isn't, I'm not changing vets. I'm just adding another vet to the
team.
We used to have a really amazing vet who did traditional Chinese medicine, but she moved to Arizona. It feels like everyone in Washington is either moving to Texas, Arizona, or Montana. And I feel like I'm going to end up having to choose a state if I want to keep my people. It's just ridiculous.
So I have had a functional medicine doctor and a yoga teacher both move to California on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's what's so funny is I feel like everyone, regardless of the reason behind it, but I feel like everyone is looking at the way the world is. And it's just sort of like, if the world is going to end, I want to be in this space around these people. And so everyone's moving off, and I don't have a people because I'm just sort of I like the weather here, even though it has been raining ridiculously a lot lately. So I feel like, I found this woman and I'm just praying. I have a feeling because she's in Seattle that she'll stay. She has a gorgeous home. But anyway, she's a holistic vet. So what happened was, after Scout's last appointment with the oncologist, she was like, his lymph nodes are getting bigger. He may not be responding to this treatment anymore. We might have to think about doing something different. But she was willing to let me decide, what do you think? And I was just like, I think his lymph nodes are fine. It's just okay, then we can keep going. And she's so great. So I had an appointment with a holistic vet because I just wanted to go over, it's been 16 months, it's been over 400 days. And I read somewhere that dogs with lymphoma, on the outset, with great luck, will live to about 450 days post-diagnosis. So we're there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure it's am I covering all my bases? Is there anything I should know? And I'm so grateful that I did this because I learned so much. So I called one veterinarian and she wasn't able to get me in right away. I actually didn't need to go right away, but she wasn't able to. So she gave me a recommendation for someone else. And then she had to cancel on me, the first vet. So I called the one she recommended. She was able to get me right in. And so I loaded Scout up in the car on Monday and drove down to Seattle. And Scout was actually so happy. Where are we going? And this is great. And I was worried. Scout's not a fan of the vet. And so I was worried that he would be nervous. And, how is, this is for acupuncture. So it's is he going to be okay with this? One thing I didn't consider was the fact that I'm sure these veterinarians meet tons of animals who aren't okay at first with acupuncture. So they know what to do. And she did. She allowed him to explore, but within a limited space, because she wanted to keep him between us so that he became comfortable in that space. She was giving him treats. She had green juju treats. I recognize the bag. And she actually treats Kelly, the founder of Green Juju. She treats one of her dogs.
Oh, wow.
Or her dog. So she knows her. And it was just sort of how do you know Kelly? And I was oh, well, I have a blog. And so I've known Kelly for a long time. And so that was kind of cool. But she was so great with him, just so, talking to me. We were talking, she already had his history and everything, but we just had this great conversation. But long story short, she did get the needles in. He settled down. He gave her kisses. which is not something that Scout does to strangers, but she got kisses twice. And yeah, he did really, really well with his first acupuncture treatment. And she was like, do you want to push it and do a few more needles? And I was like, let's quit while we're ahead. And she was like, yeah, you're right. We should, because it was such a pleasant experience. And I'm so grateful because now he'll go back and he won't be nervous about it. Right. And when we left, he actually wanted to stay. So the next appointment, I'm going to block out probably another hour of my time to walk him around the neighborhood because he just wanted to walk. He didn't want to go back. He was like feeling so good and happy. And usually he's not really an exploring type, but like he stays with me. Like if I drop his leash, he'll freeze. Like, what are you doing? I'm not safe now. But this time he was just like wanted to see everything and everybody. And he was just really excited. So that was an amazing thing. But what I learned, oh my God, I was nerding out so hard and I was trying to remember everything. I mean, if I would have had the wherewithal, I would have called you and just had you on speakerphone because it was so great. And it wasn't like I got tons of information, but the piece of information that I got is so valuable. And that is like with cancer, when a protocol stops working, then they switch up the protocol because lymphoma is, it'll get used to medication and then stop working as well. So you switch it up. And so she was asking me, just like the timing of everything that was going on. And then she was just sort of like, she's like, so you stopped the Chinese herbs, which I had when Scout was vomiting. He only vomited once, but when he wasn't feeling well, he vomited twice. But anyway, I stopped the herbs because he wouldn't eat anything. He just had to have plain food, no supplements or anything. And then I had started a new supplement. So I figured, why not give this supplement a chance to work and leave the other ones off the tables? Because he would take the new supplement, which he thinks are treats. And then I left the Chinese herbs off the table. And it turns out that was the right thing to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because just like with the medication, if he comes out of remission, then the cancer now recognizes the Chinese herbs. And she said, it's not anything to worry about. She said, there are so many remedies out there and combinations. There's so much you can do that it's not like once because I had him on 3 different herbs. Once those stop working for him, I'm just done, and I guess that's the value of working with someone who understands traditional Chinese medicine because they can take every single thing. Because she was asking me not just about his health history, like with the cancer, but she wanted to know what other times has he been sick. And he's actually only been sick one other time. And so I told her about that. She wanted to know, like, is he a hot dog or is he a cool dog? And does he get aggressive or and how does he respond to this? She asked me, it was similar to when I spoke to Dr. Loops about homeopathy.
Like the temperament kind of questions.
Exactly. It was just really kind of fun just to know. And then after everything, she came back with what she wanted to do was instead of just addressing the lymphoma, she wanted to address the underlying cause of the lymphoma. And what I loved about that was that for me, I've been looking at cancer as 50% of dogs are going to get cancer. Not that there is any underlying cause that was the reason why out of 4 of my dogs, one of the healthiest dog in my house basically got cancer. Why is that? But she says, it's basically has to do with the spleen and the digestive system. So she wants me to actually do an animal biome test on him. And I did one years ago when that company first launched. I didn't have a great experience. Because I think we've talked about this before. I did not understand the reports or.
It can be a little complicated.
Yeah.
I think they've gotten a little better though.
That's what I've heard. Because I was looking at the reports like, well, what now? I mean.
Yeah, it's like I have this information, but I don't know what it means. It was kind of how I felt.
I'm like really excited to give it a try just to see what it is, what we can get to. And because she was like, she's like, if it's in your budget, let's do that first. So she didn't recommend any new supplements or herbs. She's fine with what I'm doing right now. And I basically took him off of everything except for the new supplement and just like regular supplements that all my dogs get. So all my dogs get one for like liver support. And I like him to especially have that. So his liver is filtering all that stuff out of his system. But yeah, I'm really excited to give it a try because if we can do an animal biome test and figure out like if there's any type of I guess, bacteria or probiotics or whatever you would call it, that's missing, then we can start repopulating his gut with that. And that will give him a better shot at permanent remission. And
Yeah.
I mean, those are my words, not her words, the permanent remission part. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to order the test at the end of this week. We can get it at a slight discount through our local raw food co-op. So I'm going to go ahead and order it and get it going and call the company and let them know that, hey, remember me that did the crappy review? Need your help.
Well, it was a couple years ago, they made improvements. You can also like consult with them or have the vet consult with them.
Yeah. And so I'm excited just to have an opportunity just to, with everything that I do, I mean, my head spins into, this is new content. I can talk about it. I can write something about it. I could tell other people about it. I'm just like, so, I mean, I'm grinning ear to ear now. It's just like, it was so much fun. It's just everything that she was saying. And I was just like this enrapt attention, just listening to everything that she said. I brought a notebook with me because I was going to take notes. I didn't even take it out of my bag because I was just so focused on her. And she didn't really say anything that was complicated or overwhelming. It was so easy and completely the opposite of, well, what I was expecting and what I've experienced with the oncologist. And that's not a negative about the oncologist.
Right.
When you go for cancer, you're like, there's so much information and you're trying to keep it. And my oncologist, she was like, you're not going to remember everything. So she's like, after every appointment, she sends me like what we discussed. And I think the first appointment, I think it was like 3 to 5 pages of information. So now it's like, maybe 1 to 3 pages of information, but it's still like, this is where we came from. This is where we are now. This is what we're going to do next, and explaining things, remember to do this. And it's a lot of information, whereas this was so effortless and easy. And I walked out just feeling great. And it made me, I mean, I don't know how it would have worked out for Scout, but I kind of wish that I had gone this route from the beginning. I mean, I don't regret what I did. I mean, based on the information that I had, I did the right thing, but having spoken to her, and it's not even just that I would have gone the route of holistic. I wish I would have had this person, because I think that that's the big thing, is that she was not pushy. She did not have a problem. She doesn't have a problem with my dog's diet or anything like that. She wasn't condescending, and not that other vets are, but it's just, I felt so comfortable. Right. And like, she really knew what she was doing. And because she was asking me, like making sure I understood. And I was like, yeah, Dr. Judy Morgan talks about that. And she's like, oh, who's that? And I was like, oh, she's this amazing vet. She has this book. It's my favorite book, The Yin and Yang. And she's like, I have that book. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's an excellent book. And I'm like, it's good to know. And so, oh my gosh. So I'm still on cloud 9. It's been 24 hours. I'm still on cloud 9. The appointment was really fast. It was like 40 minutes or so. And part of it was just us talking and just allowing him to settle down. And she would give him treats. And then got him to lay down and stay down because he just wouldn't stay down.
Yeah.
But eventually, she got a needle in his head. And that was, I guess, is like the relaxing point.
Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh.
Yeah. And he did just sort of deflate, where he was just like, and then it was funny because at the end, there was a point where he did something like with his mouth. And she was just like, yep. And it's like, and it's over. It's like, he's done. And it's like, he's got what he needed from this appointment. And then probably a few seconds later, he just stood up, he went from laying down to standing straight up and alert. And she's like, yep, he's done. And so then we had to keep him still while she took the needles out. Yeah. But it was so cool. And it was cool because she was also including him. So she let him see the needles, let him smell them. But the best part was when he kissed her the second time, I was like, I was just like, she's like, yep. And she's like, yep. And he's good. And it was like, oh, it was so great. I'm so absolutely happy. I have not ever wanted to, I shouldn't say ever. I very rarely feel like doing reviews for people, even though I know I should do reviews for people, but I will be doing a review for this woman because and she is so booked up. Like I cannot get a regular standing appointment with her because she's so busy.
Because she's awesome.
Yeah. And she told me that she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I will come when you can have me. So if you have cancellations, I mean, sometimes I have a couple of appointments that are like 8 something in the morning. I am so not a morning person, but I will make that. I will go to bed early and set my alarm. Tell Alexa, get me out of bed, Alexa. Just, it was really good. I learned a lot from her, and I can't wait to go back.
Oh,
So
that's so
I
awesome.
feel like I look at Scout now and I feel like you're cured. And I just, so that was it. I'm just happy.
There is something to be said about like somebody having that good energy. And, we always say the woman who's our chiropractor, both Penny and Nina's chiropractor and my chiropractor. And, and Tim always says, because it takes both of us to get both dogs there, like that she just has good energy and you just feel it. And when you feel good being there, the dogs, react well to her. And our current vet, we feel the same way about like, they have like this good energy and the dogs react good and we feel good. And it's just like, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's so amazing. And I feel like, I'm also just really happy because I listened to my gut and I followed my gut. And I think that, I've never seen, I'm sure there are men out there that do this, but I just feel like it's such a female trait where, we'll have a gut instinct, a feeling, but we won't follow through on it because we're worried about offending someone and we just talk ourselves out of it. And so this one time, and maybe it's because this is my dog. I don't care.
Right.
That I listened to my gut and followed my instincts. And because this is again another thing with Sydney is I knew she was sick. I did take her to the vet a couple of times. The vet could not find anything, but I knew she was sick. And I wish that I had pushed myself to find an answer, and I didn't. And maybe it's because I was hoping she wasn't sick. But now that I know that, yeah, dogs get sick and it's devastating, I was like, I'm not playing around with my dog. And I feel like kind of proud of myself, but mostly proud of Scout because I was just like, I hope he doesn't freak out when the needles come out and like he's like barking at her. And I wasn't sure what he would do. And like, cause she asked, well, how does, as far as like aggression and stuff. And I just said, I was like, the biggest thing that he does is if he sees a man walking, when we're on our walks, if he sees a man walking, not jogging, not riding a bicycle, but walking, and it has to be alone. It's not like walking with a dog or family or kids, a man walking by himself down the trail. I don't know why. And it doesn't matter. It can be anywhere. There's something about a single man walking or just standing someplace. Scout does not like it. And he starts doing the stranger danger alarm barking to let them know, you stay over there and we're going this way, but you stay over there.
Right.
And I actually had someone ask me once, it's like, why does your dog do that? And I was like, he thinks you're up to no good. And he was like, really? And I'm like, that's the only thing I can think. Cause it was like this one area I used to walk all the time with a girlfriend of mine, and we did a pack walk. And it was like, these are the only 2 dogs in his entire life that he loved were her dogs. So we were on our pack walk, and I think it was D'Artagnan. D'Artagnan passed away, but D'Artagnan was like, I don't know what it was about that dog, but Scout had to be walking next to D'Artagnan. And every now and then, he would lick his chin and just keep like that was his buddy. I don't know what it was, but if we saw a man just standing or walking, he would stop and stare and then just let him know. And just like, we're walking, you stay over there. And so I was like, that's the only time I was like, he doesn't growl or try to bite or lunge or anything. He just lets them know very loudly that I don't like you. And so she was like, okay.
That's very specific.
I know, isn't it though? So how have you been?
Good. We have not seen our vet in the past week or 2, but Penny does get acupuncture regularly and she loves it. But every once in a while, she has been known to shake and all the needles go flying. And it's like, no, like in slow motion,
Oh my gosh, I never even thought about that.
Oh yeah. And it's like you said, it's kind of that thing where it's like they're kind of done. You can see them kind of starting to wake up again. And like her first instinct is just, they kind of shake it off to reset. And it's like, no.
I think Sydney might have done that once when she used to get acupuncture because we couldn't find one of the needles. And so I was helping the veterinarian look for it. And she was like, you don't have to. And I was like, I feel like I have to. And Sydney's just at the door. Like, I can leave anytime now, guys. You can just open the door. I'll go and sit in the car.
Yeah.
But, oh, it's so cool.
We haven't done acupuncture with Nino yet because he's definitely a little more skittish about all of this. And we're just happy that he goes to her house, that he seems comfortable there, that she can examine him. And, we try to, she's giving treats and, we try to just keep it really positive. So she hasn't wanted to try acupuncture with him yet. But Penny's like an old pro at this point. But they do both get different Chinese herbal formulas. Mm-hmm. And with Nino, we are really pleased. He's been on Pepcid for like 4 years. And we finally got him off of Pepcid because we've been kind of slowly decreasing it over the course of a couple weeks. And so now with these herbs, he's been totally fine. I think and then we have like a liquid formula that if he has any like breakthrough, like reflux kind of symptoms, we give him the liquid formula. So I just started kind of proactively just giving it to him every night before bed. So that way, because if he has a problem, it always seems to be in the middle of the night, but he seems to be doing really well with these herbal formulas. So it's been like a huge win for us to be able to get him off the Pepcid. So yes, that's been very exciting around these parts.
I know that's what we got our first box of Pepcid for the dogs. When Scout wasn't feeling well, he was so bloated, the poor guy. And I gave him a mixture of, I gave him Pepcid and I gave him the activated charcoal because I was like, I don't know what's going on in there, but here. Let's do this. And it worked.
You can give dogs Gas X. When my Lucy was really sick with cancer and all and stuff, she would like visibly, like her stomach would visibly get like full, and we would give her Gas X, and then you would hear her expelling the gas.
I know. It was so funny because for 24 hours I would just hear Johan go, "Oh, he farted again." I was like, it's not over. It was like, I mean, our house smelled so bad. It was like awful. And it was cold. I mean, this has been the coldest spring that we've had in a long time. Usually by now we're experiencing, the start of summer, and it is not, we're definitely still in spring. So the windows are all closed, and, we were like opening the windows and turning on the fan and like putting on a sweater or something like that. And it was just like, poor guy. And I was like, he's so uncomfortable. And I think it was Monday morning when Johan woke me up and it was like, I took Scout outside and he pooped. And I was like, and I can't remember if he said if it was solid or not, but I think I was just like, well, where is it? And he told me where it was and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll go look at it later.
I have to go examine. Yeah.
I'll go look at it later. And I was like, thank you so much. He was so happy. It's sort of like the end of the gas. Yeah. It's come to an end. So it was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's the life with dogs.
Especially with like, crazy dog moms that are out examining poops in the yard and stuff.
I mean, because I have done it where I've gone out with the flashlight. I have really good flashlights. Costco has one. And I got it for Johan for Christmas. He's the type of person, he just buys himself. If he wants something, he goes and buys it. So it's kind of hard to buy him something that he would really like. And also, a lot of the stuff that he really likes is very expensive.
Right.
Because it's all tools and stuff like that. So it's just like, I don't know. So I always treat Christmas as a really practical holiday. And so I just think about the things that he needs and the things that he's complained about over the past few months. And I go buy solutions. And one thing that we need is flashlights. And we have a thing. So I have flashlights. I don't like to share my flashlight. It's my flashlight. He has his flashlight because every single time he's borrowed my flashlight, it's gone. And I'll ask him where it is, where's the flashlight? And he doesn't know what I'm talking about. And he's like, oh, maybe I left it in so-and-so's truck. And I'm just like, it's not your flashlight. You can't be just leaving it places. I had a really pretty red flashlight and it's gone. So anyway, I got him a really good flashlight for Christmas. And he was like, really, really like, this is a nice flashlight. And I was like, I know. So I went back and I planned on getting myself one. And I feel like I did, but I don't see it anywhere in the house.
Can you get flashlights engraved?
I know, because I sort of feel like maybe he lost one already. But I did get some smaller ones. And I think that maybe what I did is I went back and got smaller ones. And it's the same brand, Duracell, makes flashlights now.
Oh.
And so he's not really interested in my little flashlights. But we have this big, beautiful flashlight. And I take it, in the wintertime, I go outside. And I like to keep the dog yard clean. And the beauty of working from home is that I can do it before nightfall. But when I have to work in Seattle, I have to go out, in the dark. I always wonder if my neighbors, they're pretty far. They can see us, but it's not right next door. But I wonder if they ever see me like walking around with a light and wonder what I'm doing.
What is she doing?
What is she looking for? But yeah, a good flashlight everyone needs to have. So I was out there, I didn't have to do it. I waited until it got light and I went out and I'm looking around and I found it. I'm like, this is a good poop. I'm really happy.
Sometimes that is like the best feeling.
I know. I mean, I've done dances with solid poops. It's just like not even funny. So I sent you a text message last week or this weekend, maybe it was, because I am a YouTube addict. I love YouTube so much. And the YouTube algorithm decided that I need to know more about the dollar store. Not sure what I watched that made them think that that was something that I needed to know. So I'm watching this video of this woman, and I thought it was going to be like this quick video of, oh, I went to the dollar store, I got this thing, and I jazzed it up and look at it now. No, this woman was like doing one thing after the other, and all of it was like really simple craft projects, and they look so good. And I'm just like, that's at the dollar store? Because I go to Hobby Lobby and Michael's, and this is at the dollar store. So I decided to go to the dollar store to see. And I walk in and I go, where's your crafting stuff and your labels? And they told me where they were. And I'm walking up and down these aisles, seeing things that I purchased at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. I mean, to be honest, Hobby Lobby, I know people have issues with Hobby Lobby, but they have a whole Marvel and DC section. And Star Wars. So yeah.
It is what it is.
They get my money because, and I have like May the Force be with you sign somewhere in the house. And I have a Spider-Man print in the house. And yeah, I have all my, it's insane. I love my Marvel. But anyway, I'm walking up and down. They have everything. And I got these really cool jars and organized a bunch of stuff in the jars. And now I'm just like holding on to the door of my house to keep myself from leaving, because it's like, I am not going to go back and, like this room that has all these freaking mugs in it, which by the way, I'm trying to get rid of 15 of them. And it is so hard because people are like, well, I just want those two. And I'm like, no, you need to come and take them all or none. I need this out of my house. But yeah, it's like a really cool place. And I just remember that we had that conversation about the Container Store. And I'm like, you can get everything at the Container Store there. Not everything, but it's $1.25. And it's just like so exciting. So do you guys have a dollar store over there?
Yeah. I haven't been in there in a while. I should go in there.
Go in there and see what you see.
Like back in the day that, Tim and I used to do like all our shopping there.
It's really cool. If you're clever and creative, you can really do I think you can do some damage, not like financially, but like you can make some ugly stuff. There's I'm not a very creative person. I actually need, I'm not a chef. I think I am after I watch a series of TV shows. Just like if I watch home improvement shows, I'm convinced that I can remodel a house. I am not a creative person.
Yeah, I'm not crafty like that.
Yeah, exactly. I need instructions. And once I have instructions, then I can do that one thing over and over and over.
Right.
But seeing other people with these really creative, like they'll look at something and be like, oh, okay. And just, I'm like blown away.
Yeah.
I want a glue gun. I decided I need a glue gun, because that seems to be a big thing that crafters have.
Oh, I remember them from like Girl Scouts or something. It's like the last time I used a glue gun.
But someone, Jessica Fisher, she is a dog trainer, and she commented when I shared it on Instagram, because she was just like, the glass might be from China and it might be, and I was just sort of like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so excited that I found jars for $1.25 that I don't really care. I mean, but then of course I also, cause I included in that post, which is, probably the most romantic or one of the most romantic things that Johan did for me. The very first romantic thing he did for me was give me a vacuum cleaner because I love to vacuum. And so that was like the nicest thing. And that was like 20 years ago. But a few years ago, I was looking for jars so that I can have glass jars. And I really wanted to get away from plastic. And I was looking on, and he was like, well, just look on Craigslist. I was like, these things are expensive. And he's just, look on Craigslist. People, have those and then they just get tired of it and they just want to get rid of them. And I was like, really? And I found one, and it was weird because it was basically an announcement of a garage sale. So I was just like, oh, I can't go get them because I have plans with my friend and we're going to be gone all day. So I was like, well, at least now I know, and I'll just keep looking on Craigslist. Well, when my girlfriend and I got back to the house, there were 5 boxes stacked up, and it was all, wide mouth glass jars, and there are lids there too. And so I still have all of, in fact, I think I have one box that I've never opened that still has those glass jars. And so I've been using those for a long time. I'm not quite sure where those are made because I've reached a point where my mind can only hold so much worry about my dogs. And I've decided to be like, I can't with the whole where everything is made. I'm just going to be okay with it and trust that it's all right, because I just can't. So I don't know, but I have so many glass jars, but that's the only other way I've known to get glass jars is through Craigslist. But these ones, the ones I got at the dollar store, they're pretty. And I'm so excited. Oh gosh.
That's awesome.
I know.
So there was some other exciting news over the weekend on the internet. I saw Dr. Kosher started making some announcements for next year's Healthy Dog Expo.
Okay, so now when I saw Connor Brady, I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm getting my ticket. I'm going. I am going because I love him so much. He's so amazing.
And the accent.
Yes. To me, I don't know what it is, but when people have an accent, they just seem so much smarter for me. And like, they really know. I mean, someone can have an accent. Like, what is that guy? Is it Pierce Morgan? Pierce Morgan is, I guess he's a reporter. I always thought of him at first. I thought of him as like an entertainment reporter because he has so much, I don't know what you would call it, drama, scandal, whatever that surrounds.
He's kind of tabloidy. Yeah.
Yeah. He gets really, and stuff like that. But I swear he'll say stuff and I'll be like, oh, you're right. Meghan Markle is a horrible person. And I'm like, no. That's the accent. Don't let the accent fool you. You need to do your own homework, Kimberly. But I mean, and it's the same thing with like when I was into the raw feeding. Because sometimes for me, it's easier to just talk to someone on the phone. So I'll be like, can we just talk on the phone? And I would talk to people and be like, oh, you have an accent. And it's so silly because I'm like completely like when everything you must say must be, because I got in my head that anyone from Australia or the UK, like they knew more about raw feeding than Americans. I don't know why I decided that was the case, but I did. But yeah, I love his accent. And then I get a kick out of the fact that since I'm 7% Irish, I feel like we're kind of related. So I feel like it'll be kind of a family reunion when I go.
Yes, I was very excited because I'm like, well, he signed my book. Like I was very excited about
that's a good point. I have to bring my book. God, and that is such a good book. I really got a kick out of it. I love how he like went overboard when it comes to, and here's all the references. I mean, it was like every chapter was a mic drop of, and oh, you don't believe me? Pages of links. Here you go.
I love, my little nerd heart loves that so much.
It actually changed the way I blog, because now, because of that, I mean, granted, I used to add links and stuff here, but now I'm very much like, especially if it's a topic that I know is like people will want to know more about. Like for instance, what is it? DCM. I have an article on my site that a friend of mine's husband wrote, actually, because he's brilliant. He wrote it for my site. And I went through and added tons of links to it back then. And it wasn't, probably added like 4, like, so if you want to read more, here's some articles. But since reading his book and talking to him, I actually, every time I get new information about DCM, I go back and update and add another link to that thing. And I have the links organized and it's just, and I even went so far as to have links from both sides of the camp, because I know that some people are, very much, as far as what they think DCM is caused by, like, the grain-free diet, and other people are like, well, no, it's a little more complicated than that. And it's just, I find that topic, really kind of fascinating because, it is, there's so much to it. And it was such a hot topic
for so long.
Yeah. And then it just vanished. And I'm sure to a lot of people, it didn't vanish. I'm sure those they're having these conversations in these groups, but it just feels sort of like we couldn't get away from that topic for so long. And now it's just like, any DCM? Does anyone?
I'm always like afraid, like, don't start again.
I know. And actually, speaking of which, what, I forgot who else she said.
I made a list.
Oh, good.
So, okay, Dr. Barbara Royal.
Yes, that's right.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So can I just share my Barbara Royal fan? I was looking around me, but it's in my other room. So I saw her at the what is it called? The Dogs Naturally. Yeah. So she was there, and I had met her before, but this time, I went up and so first it was like, I don't expect her to remember me or anything, but I go up and I'm like, hi, hi, Dr. Royal. And she's like, oh, hey, Kimberly. And I'm just like inside, like,
she knows my name.
What? And then she was like, oh, I was hoping to see you when you were here because I brought something for you. And I'm just like, what? And so she gave me this really great book that I love. It's like this positive book. And I'm like, how did you know that I love this type of stuff? And she's like, yeah, you mentioned something on social media. And I was just like, what? I mean, just like, what? And for all I know, this woman brought a case of these books and was giving them out to everyone. I don't care. I felt so special. And plus, she worked with Oprah.
I was just going to say, and this is like Oprah's vet, and now it's like you're like 2 steps from Oprah.
Exactly. It's like, 6 degrees of separation type of thing. And I was just like, although right now I'm still disappointed in Oprah for one thing. I did not like her interview with Meghan and Harry. I felt like she should have, I wanted to see a more balanced interview. And I still want to see a more balanced interview. I just felt like she was talking to her friends, which is fine. That wasn't what I wanted. But, I still love my Oprah because I just love her story. And I was going to say my parents-in-law. I don't think anyone has ever used that term. My in-laws for Christmas one year got me this big Oprah Winfrey book. And I basically sat in a corner all Christmas, just flipping through it over and over again. And because they're like, we know you love Oprah. And I'm like, I do. I love my Oprah.
Oprah started her broadcast career in Baltimore, and she was like a news reporter when I was a little kid.
Oh, that's so amazing. I just, so Barbara Royal is, I just love her so much. And so the cool thing about the Healthy Dog Expo is that, or this year, was how big it was. I mean, I don't even know if Lori knew she can get all of these amazing voices in one room. I mean, it's just, and it was one of those, like, did you jump the shark? Are you? And she didn't, because I am just as excited, even more excited about this one, because I mean, I love all of the people that were there this year, but Rodney's a friend of mine and I would have loved to see him, but I sort of feel like I can get my Rodney dose or my Billy dose. They're a phone call away, but Dr. Barbara Royal isn't, and neither is, Dr. Connor Brady. And man, I mean, these are people who, especially Dr. Connor Brady, I feel like if you and I were at this expo, we would just have to try and corner him in a not creepy way or try not to make it creepy and then just totally nerd out. It's like pull out the book with all the post-its and
Yes,
highlights.
yeah.
Because my main question for him is there's a section of his book where he talks about what are those dogs in Australia?
Dingoes.
Dingoes. And so some of the information that he references is out of date, like there's new information. And I learned that from Gabrielle Joy. So I would love to just watch them talk to each other about dingoes because oh my God, I have so many thoughts and things in my brain when it comes to like diet and nutrition. And I would just love to get his take on it. I've spoken to him before, but now I want to speak to him again because even I'm trying to interview this guy and all I'm doing is like, okay, well, what do you think about this? And it wasn't really an interview. It was just me recording our conversation because he's so much fun.
Yeah. And then Steve Brown.
Yes. Yeah. I thought Steve Brown was supposed to be there this year too. For some reason.
I don't remember that.
Come to think of it. Now Steve Brown, oh my gosh, I am so going because Steve Brown is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like a legend. Like,
oh my gosh, I mean, because he created my animal diets formulator software, and he's one of those people who, you know, you can say, okay, so I'm going to feed my dog this, this, and this, and he'll tell you what the nutrients are and what will change if you add this. He has all of that in his brain,
in his head, yeah.
And it's just like, wow. I'm curious to know. I mean, obviously it's too early, but I'm curious to know what they'll be talking about because, oh my God, I'm so going.
And then the last name is Dr. Debbie Taraka, who
I know who that is.
Yeah, does canine rehab and just put out a new study about degenerative myelopathy. So I know people like personally whose dogs have dealt with that. So I was really excited to see anytime anybody talks about that because it's so scary.
Yeah, she was there the year I spoke.
Oh, okay.
So she spoke that year, and I didn't get to really see anyone speak. I think I sat in on a Dr. Jean Dodds because it was just sort of like, how can you not?
Yeah.
I was also sick that weekend, so I basically was every time I wasn't speaking, I was taking a nap, and I was like drugged up because I felt so bad for the man who had to sit next to me on the plane on the way home because I just kept turning and I was like, this is just the end of it. I promise I'm not contagious. It's just the end and it's gross. And I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's fine. And I was like, I'm sure that they wouldn't like,
you're like
coughing. And this is because I will, and I know this is going to sound like totally, Kim Kardashian-ish, but I swear it's not. I will only fly first class when I cross the country. And the reason why is because I don't like to travel. I am a homebody. If I go to Vegas, I'll just take coach or business. I don't care. But if I'm going across the country, because it's just like so long and sitting and being uncomfortable, I just figure, you know what, I'm going to treat myself to a first class ticket. And I think the first time I did it was when I went to speak at the Healthy Dog Expo. Oh, okay. And thank God I did because I wasn't feeling well. The stewardess, or I guess we call them flight attendants, was so amazing and took such good care of me. Oh. And I was just like, she got me tissues. And I was like, and when I'm sick, I am a baby. So I was like, she's like, do you need a box of tissues? And I was like, are they the ones with the lotion? Get those for you. And I was just like, is there anything else? I was like, I really like those nuts. Can I have more warm nuts? And she's like, yes, I will bring those over. And she was so amazing to me and took such good care of me. Do you need a blanket? I'm like, yes, I do. And I was such a baby. But yeah, it was, oh my God, I can't believe it. So that's like, did you list 4 people?
Yes.
And is that like just the first set?
Yes.
Do you think more is coming?
Yeah.
Gosh. Because when I saw the graphic, and of course, Johan doesn't know what I'm talking about, but I was just like, she's bringing him from Ireland? And it was just like, and he's just looking at me like, what?
I know, Tim's the same way. I was very excited too. And it's like literally like a year from now. It's like May, it'll be May 20th and
That's
21st of
right.
next year.
Because
So at
it's,
least
I
the weather will be nice.
I keep saying over and over again, it's in Karen Becker's birthday. I just keep, I don't know. I just know her birthday is around May 20th. I'm not a stalker, but I just know. And the reason why I know it is because I'm a few weeks older than Dr. Karen Becker. And I don't know why, but that gives me such joy. And I have no idea why. And I think it was because there was a time when we were all having a conversation. Karen wasn't, she was around, but I think she was like having a different conversation. But there was a group of us, and Rodney was like, well, I'm the oldest one here. And I was like, no, you're not. I am. And he was like, no, you're not. I am. And everyone was just like, Kim. And I was just like, yeah. And I don't remember how old I was at the time, but I told them what my age was, and everyone was shocked. And I think shortly after that, I found out about Karen's birthday and was just so excited about it. And I think she was even looking at me like, wow, really? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm older than you. And I just think this is so cool. So I just feel like, Grandma Kimberly. I just feel so by 3 weeks.
Oh, so Rodney did a podcast interview with Dr. Peter Tobias recently.
Oh.
And that was a really good interview. And I learned a lot about like his background and upbringing and stuff that I hadn't realized before, and kind of like that he had kind of like, I don't want to say like learning difficulties, but that that he's like a very visual learner, and as opposed to like reading and stuff. And so he kind of struggled in school, because you would look at him and think like, oh my God, he's like this like brilliant guy. And,
yeah.
And so I really appreciated like kind of hearing, I love backstories,
Mm-hmm.
So I just loved hearing his story, and they were really like emotional and talking about like their, dogs that have passed, and, why we're also passionate about, these things. And so that was a really good interview.
Yeah. Peter Tobias is so awesome. To me, he's like my hero, because, they were like, either give up your license or give up your business. And he was like, okay, well, bye.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm helping too many dogs doing what I'm doing. So no, and we're not. And I just have so much respect for him.
For that. Yeah.
And I just, again, just watching Rodney go from this guy that I met on social media, and we would message back and forth to each other about, hey, I just learned this thing, and hey, what have you seen this, to who he is today, is so exciting. And I just couldn't be happier for him. And I feel like he's inspired so many other people to shoot their shot when it comes to not so much like being famous, but just if you have something to share that can help other people, start sharing it. And I'm seeing a lot of people, that, it cracks me up when someone, every now and then someone will be like, have you heard of Karen Becker or Rodney Habib? Maybe you should contact them. And I'm like, yeah, I know him. But it's like there are other people who I've been, that are in the community, where I'll have people message me and say, have you heard of this person? You should reach out to them and stuff. And I'm just like, even though I don't, because I know who the person is, I still think it's really exciting to see people like building a name for themselves, not because, of their looks or because of they're rich or something, but because they are actively making a difference in the lives of people's pets. And it's just so exciting because, wow, when I first started, I'm sure all of this was there. I just didn't know because I was new to the room, but it's been just a wild ride watching everyone grow. It's just so cool.
It's a wild ride watching you grow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And then the other cool news I saw this week was Solutions was making some product announcements about their they're going to have all these different goat milk formulas, which I thought was really interesting. So it's not just your standard goat milk. They have like, I'm going to say flavors or formulas. So there's like a butter tea with like dandelion root and other herbs for digestion. There's one, I liked this. It was called Goat Nog with duck eggs, honey, and cinnamon. There was a formula with turmeric, ginger, and black pepper, so almost like a liquid golden paste. And then there was another one called tummy tea with peppermint and aloe and other like soothing digestion things. So I thought that was a really cool way to do goat milk, but make it your own, as
Yeah.
they would say on like American Idol. Like,
I mean, we
make
said
your
it like last time where it's so hard to come up with a new product idea that it's really exciting to see people coming up with like recognizing what's needed in the community. I mean, just like the real meal pet food, because I want to keep calling them real meat pet food, but it's real meal pet food. And they sent me their turkey recipe, which is new to them, that my dogs love. And they sent me a fermented fish mushroom broth.
Oh.
And I was like, I opened that thing and gave it to Scout, and Scout was like, can I have some more, please?
Oh.
Because, and it's a small container, so it went really fast with 4 big dogs. But I was like, this is brilliant.
Yes.
This is so smart. And what a way, I think for 2 years, we've all mourned, first the loss of answers, not that they're gone, but, things have changed. So the answers that we knew, that changed. And then the loss of Cure. And so it was just kind of like, I guess that's it. And to see so many people recognize that, there's an opening in the market and then seek to fill that opening, because I honestly didn't think like any type of fermented fish product would ever happen again unless we did it at home. And now I've been hearing whispers. I see, the Real Meal Pet Company has it, but, there are whispers of other people who are coming up with different recipes. And so I love the idea that Solutions has, because I would totally buy, something like that to add to the rotation, simply because, okay, well, this one is what, Rodrigo needs because he's feeling a little wonky with the gut today. And
right. Because that's what I was thinking with Nino. Like, we're always doing all the digestive soothing things with him.
Yeah.
And I did see, so Solutions, they, instead of fermented fish stock, they're going to have gelatins. So they're going to have like a fermented fish gelatin, chicken gelatin, and pork gelatin.
Love it.
So they call it jiggles. And so I was very excited about that. And then they also just have some herb formulas too, like that are, pre-made for different conditions. And so, and everybody kept saying, when can I get it? When can I get it? And what I saw online. So it says like early to mid-summer. So we're only a few weeks away from early summer.
How does that woman have time to run not just one, but multiple pet stores and to start a food?
And Parsley Pet. She bought Parsley Pet.
Did she really?
Yeah. Chelsea. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I learned that at the Healthy Dog Expo.
I knew that they had sold Parsley Pet, but I didn't know who bought it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Way to go, Chelsea.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
So lots of exciting things coming down the pike soon.
I know. It's going to be an interesting summer. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go to Super Zoo or not. I want to go, but being home for the past 2 years, it's getting harder and harder to
leave. Yeah.
And so but I really want to go, because I feel like now that everyone is so much more comfortable being out and about, that we're going to see some really cool things. And I'm hoping that, like the Real Meal Pet Food Company and, Chelsea with Solutions, and maybe even Parsley Pet will be there, whether they'll have a booth or not, but just be there, even just networking and be able to sit down with these people and talk about, the whys that they made the choices, because that's what I'm so fascinated with, because it's so obvious, but it's just sort of like, what got you there? Because, and it seems like, there's always a story about a dog, but it's just like, I'm so excited because, again, after Answers, it was just such a letdown with everything that happened with Answers. And I was kind of just hoping that by now all of that would be behind us and we would just have Answers and we would have Cure and we would just move forward. But I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I'm glad that the loss that so many people have experienced hasn't gone unheard of, and that people, because that's a great idea. I love that. Gelatins. I want their fish gelatins. As you're talking, I'm thinking in my mind, I wonder how much they sell it by the case.
Yeah, so very exciting.
Yes. Well, that was a fun chat. Thanks for chatting with me, Erin.
Yes, always a pleasure. Until next time, everybody.
See you later, guys.